such a hit.
So they released their top 10 offenses. Colorado's number 8.
This moment in sports history will be remembered as one of the better fights, man. Like,
Put the cherry on top, they played Austria today. Guess the score of that game? 32-25 to not medal for bronze.
Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Bros in the Bleachers podcast. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, comment on any stupid stuff we say. And guys, how are we feeling today?
feeling great. We are in episode 26, our Wade Boggs episode. Hall of Famer at the plate, Hall of Famer behind the pint glass. Josh, how we feeling?
Oh, we're doing great. A good old victory Sunday from a college perspective. Still a middling Sunday from an NFL's perspective, though. I mean, the Saquon Barkley episode, just feed him the ball.
That's right. So let's get the Clinton Portis episode started off. College football this weekend, championship weekend. Who won? Who lost? Let's get right into it. Friday's championship games. We had Jacksonville State going in a rematch against Western Kentucky, and sadly, the Hilltoppers lost 52-12. Sad Big Red noises.
Oh, real
Sad Big Red.
That's definitely one of the teams that we like to root for. And we don't necessarily want to see Rich Rod succeed. So,
I don't speak for everybody here. I'll root for Rich Rod.
Oh,
I'm on the same train, Josh. Don't worry, I got you.
yeah.
Oh, screw you guys.
I'm just lashing out. It's because Arizona's bad.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, Jacksonville State comes out on top 51-12. Absolute mollywhopping against Jacksonville State. Got to shout out Trey Stewart, former bell cow, had an insane performance just on the the right side of the ball. Unfortunately, not on Big Reds, because he had 27 carries for 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. Absolute bell cow performance. But Drew, were you? I believe you were on Big Red in our Hilltoppers, weren't you?
I mean, I like him from the mascot.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought. Oh, you did. I thought that you were big on Big Red and that you were placing.
Oh no, I didn't have
big
money.
chips,
I didn't have
no?
money. I didn't have money on that game at all. But some of the stats I saw were 386 yards on the ground by Jacksonville State. Good God! And this was a vengeance game after they lost to them last week, 19-17. So Richard all schemed up a good old game plan and just absolutely destroyed them. And hey, this is what I said. I wanted a dream matchup, and this was the dream matchup: Western Kentucky versus Jacksonville State USA Championship game. So
Look at you, dialed in on CUSA.
Maybe no
happy.
point.
So happy. Let's move on to the next game in the AAC championship game. Army beats Tulane 35-14, and the armed services continue to shine bright.
It was not the wave.
It was not the wave, and unfortunately, I did a little bit of an act of treason and rode the wave with Josh, and it was not fun because Army came out 35-14. Josh, why were we on Tulane again? Why weren't we just running on the ground forces?
sometimes it's always hit or miss with the triple option, because it's like I was telling you, we were watching it, like it was the middle of the second quarter, they were up a couple, like 3 touchdowns to nothing, and I'm like, yeah, this game's already over, like it's over, it's done, that's it. So yeah,
once you've established, it's game over.
So Jake,
you either stop them in
didn't-
the first, or you got
You did not take armed services as you've been.
No, I rode the wave. I did not take the ground services. It's a high act of treason. I'm aware. Again,
Now,
what, Drew? What do you got for me?
can you relate this into the equivalence of war crimes committed? What is this in relation to? I think this is about like 10 war crimes committed by you.
I don't know
Yeah.
about 10. This is at least 2.
I don't know.
but
You brought
like,
Army up a lot this season. You brought him up a lot.
Hey, listen, it's a hand up. It's on me. There were some shaky performances from Army over the last couple of weeks, and I wasn't feeling it. And to Josh's point, I was feeling the wave, and I just couldn't get myself off of it.
I'll agree. I mean, that
calling-
Tulane quarterback, very good. Also a freshman, so that
100%.
kind of might have played into it. But I'll take off 3 war crimes since Jake did call Bryson Daly 2 touchdowns.
I mean,
Thank
listen,
you.
I am calling him right now, though. Future 5-star general Bryson Daly. This is his address. This is where you send the Abrams. This is where we roll it over. We just send it in. But yeah,
I love it.
treasonous, Jake.
Oh, and again, we'll say Bryson Daly for our favorite segment, but Kanye Udo needs to be shouted out. The running back for Army had a 72-yard touchdown. Just love to see it. And again, Army just continuing to ground and pound forces. Cannot wait for this Army Navy game next week, folks.
So pumped. So pumped.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it's the over. Who knows? And that'll bring us to our last Friday night game. I'll let Josh take the floor. Boise State beats UNLV 21-7. And Josh, how are we feeling? Boise State championship playoff berth.
We feel great. What happened was what we expected from the jump. From the jump, I saw the weather. I know what it's like. I grew up there. So I immediately was like, they're not ready. And then we cut immediately to like, the Fox desk or everybody's picking Boise State. Urban Meyer picks UNLV. I'm like, his ass is just mad that he's in Boise, Idaho. Listen, I get it. And then, yeah, like, they came out hot in that first drive. And then after that, I mean, it just started. You just had to let them sit there on the bench, UNLV, and make them think about their decision. How did I get here? Why is it so cold? Why am I in Boise, Idaho? Why is the turf blue? There's a lot of things going on. And Boise State decided to just keep leaning on the run and ran all over them.
Sensory overload with that blue field, man. It's insane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was chilling at the sports book. A guy they sent everybody out with the hammers, and one of the old linemen just had his gut hanging out in the 23-degree weather with the wind chill. And I'm like, oh, it's done. It's over. We're good. We're just gonna hang out.
My favorite part of that entire game, though, is got to be from a day or two before the game when Haj Malik Williams was asked about going into Boise, and he said that he couldn't point Boise out on a map. Then Boise obviously ran all over him, but there was at one point where they had him sacked, and then they had a Google Earth zoom in shot all the way to Boise Stadium, and it says, "This is where we are." And I'm like,
Yep.
"Oh, I love that. That just gets me going." So unfortunately, UNLV, it was not the storybook season that everybody thought that it might have been. Obviously, there was a lot of turmoil at the beginning of the year for y'all, but Boise was just going to continue to Boise. And let me just say, if we could all just hit the pose real quick, because that's just another awesome performance from our brother Ashton Genty.
Absolutely.
Big stonks for our boy Ashton Genty, and we'll definitely reveal as to why later in the show, as you may know. Let's get into Saturday's championship game. University of Ohio, or is it Ohio University? Bobcats,
Ohio.
whatever.
Ohio University.
Miami versus Miami. They win 38-3 as a dog and just crushing defeat of the Red Hawks.
Yeah,
Parker Navarro was
he's him.
inevitable, man. It was gross.
Yep, he came in. He came in with a plan, and he was executing.
I hate to be the guy that's like I was on the Red Hawks, but again, Josh, we just got caught, man, with Tulane in Miami of Ohio for sure. But Parker Navarro, like we said, was 20 of 27 for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns, with 13 carries for 67 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns as well. It was 23-1 by halftime. Again, Josh, once we saw the scores, we were looking at each other to be like, so there's not a chance, right? It was one of those moments.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and I was, I bet with one thing and I root with the other. It was what happened there. Cause I mean, once they started taking the lead, I was like, are they gonna do it? Because yeah, I mean, they, as we've talked about with our Mac rundown, stuff like that, they had a couple weeks ago. I mean, they faltered, but I think particularly against Miami, they had a game where they just didn't show out well. And yeah, good old revenge game here, right in the championship.
They'll get you.
And that'll end the Maction music. I forgot. This is the Maction Championship corner for Josh.
Just get the little feature in there, the little 10 seconds of it, and then we're golden.
Oh yeah. And that'll bring us to the next game where Arizona State played Iowa State, absolutely destroyed them 45-19, and Cam Skattebo is just insane.
Yeah, that was a pretty nuts performance, and I will tell you, I did love the post game conference with him talking about how he was the best running back in the country. I think if anything, it shows more validity to Ashton Genty versus that, just because now if we start looking at stats, Ashton Genty is still far and above away. But as we go back to ASU again, this 45-19 win, for as much as I'm an Arizona homer and hate to see ASU succeed in any way, the fact that everyone projected them to be last in the conference and then to go out to just win that's finally, out of all of these stories, we're finally getting a storybook, and that's the storybook for us. So again, shout out ASU, but really shout out
He's
Camp
he's by
Scatterbo.
he's by himself on that little. It's fun that they were last to first thing. No, I would
Right.
rather they be in the gutter. It's disgusting. I hope they get to play Boise State, and I hope Boise State runs all over them, which would be really fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah, this one really stings, and I'll have something to touch on that later. But yeah, absolutely electric performance by Cam Scatabo or Scatabo, however you want to call it. Let's get us to the next game, the SEC title game, Georgia versus Texas. Georgia absolutely just pulls out a late one without Carson Beck, 22-19, and sweeps Texas on the year.
Yeah, I mean, you could feel the relief on the Georgia sideline kind of when Beck was not coming back, and like that's kind of scary for the rest of the field. I mean, honestly, it's kind of terrible to say, but like they played exceptionally better when that happened, and I don't know if that's just everybody was puckered tight the whole time that he's at quarterback, and now it's kind of just like, oh, we can just play football, but who knows?
I mean, it kind of goes back to what we've been saying about this Georgia team all year, though, right? Like, we knew that Carson Beck was going to be arguably the biggest liability on that team. And at every other position, they're deep and they're the top guys in all of college football, let alone the SEC, right? So, again, seeing these guys kind of have that next man up mentality. And again, Georgia's now winning their second straight game in overtime, heading into a charged playoff. It's tough looking at Georgia as a dog in any game that they have coming up. I'm just going to go
Yeah.
out and say it. I don't
Oh
think
yeah.
that means that I'm taking them to win the whole damn thing, but
Heck no.
it is going to be hard to look at Georgia as an underdog in any game.
Yep.
Will Howard, Carson Beck. The stuff I saw through that game, Texas run offense was just so bad.
Mhm.
The running back, I forgot his name, but he had 19 carries, averaging 2.7 yards a carry. That's not going to help out Quinn Ewers because he was moving that ball down the field pretty well, but just not having a run game to help support him at all really just stifled any hope on opportunity that they could score more points because Georgia's like, oh, they're just going to pass and we'll just play man and just run. Yeah, just terrible. Um, let's see. Yeah, really wish Carson Beck stayed in that game. That's for sure. As far as a better's point on the Longhorns, so that sucked. Um,
Yeah, being on Texas was definitely not fun, but that air game was definitely something to be looking out for. And at least, obviously, end result isn't fun, but the game overall, I think that everybody definitely enjoyed and seeing that. But Matthew Golden from Texas has to get shouted out. 8 receptions, 162 yards, made
oh,
some
he was
unreal catches.
sick.
Yeah, he was mossing people. And again, these championship weekends, you never know what you're going to end up coming out with. As a gambler, I feel like you win some, you lose some, but it was a good football game, and I'm happy to see that.
No, so hopefully Texas in the playoffs can limit the penalties and maybe scheme a little bit better against the run and some underneath passes since Gunnar Stockton just absolutely carved him up a little bit. And that'll move us on to our next game. Did any of you guys watch Marshall, Louisiana, the Sun
I mean,
Belt?
kind
I
of.
watched Louisiana get a field goal and then
That was
got
it.
distracted.
And that was the Sun Belt title game, guys. Great analysis. I didn't
Yep.
watch it.
The
Sorry.
herd kept on thundering, man. I mean, yeah, they
Yeah,
crushed them.
Marshall came to play. They had 222 rushing yards versus ULL's 57 total rushing yards throughout the entire game. And again, Jordan Houston from Marshall having a near bell cow performance, 17 carries, 117 yards and a touchdown. But to Josh's point, this was over after Louisiana's first drive. So
Yeah.
once it was over, and no one needed to watch the rest of that snooze fest.
Yep.
Damn.
It was, I mean, literally the shades of the MAC championship where it was like
Exactly.
Ohio came out, fired a bit out of a cannon. And then after that, it was just a smoke show.
Basically mirroring games.
Hmm.
Yeah, Raging Cajuns averaged 2 yards a carry on all their rushes, so
Not
they
it.
got thundering herded like a Mario Kart with the lightning bolt. That was pretty much Louisiana at the offensive line every time, not able to move
Yeah.
the ball.
Instead,
Um,
it's just a green lightning bolt because it's Marshall.
true, true. Let's go to the ACC title game and an absolute nail biter. Clemson wins 34-31 to clinch the ACC title game and make the playoffs as a 12 seed.
Unreal.
I
Got to
kind
give
of
it
a
to Cade
crazy.
Klubnik.
Yeah. I mean, like kind of, yeah, he played really well. He had those 4 touchdowns and yeah, like it, I don't know, if you add an extra 2 minutes on that game, who knows what happens, but yeah, that was a kind of a wild nail biter there at the end.
It really
Yeah,
was.
go for it, Drew.
No, Cade Klubnik was putting on a passing clinic in that first half, and then the SMU defense decided to show up, and it just came a whole different ball game. They got pressure on Cade. They pushed him out of the pocket, and not in a good way for Cade. Wasn't able to make it much passes off that, and Kevin Jennings on SMU was just trying to carry that team in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think honestly, this game was Clemson just kind of playing their standard game. And I think that SMU, it kind of sucks to say, but I feel like they lost this game for themselves. Like there was a costly interception, there was a costly fumble. At the end of the day, if we're looking just at straight box scores here, there were six penalties from SMU and there's none from Clemson. Clemson knew how to be there. The moment wasn't too big for them. They knew that they were going to be underdogs and they had all the pressure off of them. SMU had all of the pressure on them. And again, if you lose the game, maybe you don't sniff the playoff, and it seems like they're probably going to make their way in anyways. But Clemson definitely found their way to claw and tiger their way in. Man, that was nuts.
Yeah, that had to be worst case scenario for like Alabama, right?
100%.
It's so good.
Which is really funny. I mean, for a lot of teams also, I mean, probably even Miami as well, but
But no, Clemson rug pulled SMU just like everybody who paid for Hawk Tuah coin this weekend. So yeah, definitely
There you
not
go,
too
bud.
right. Let's go to the last championship game we had, the Big Ten championship, where Oregon beats Penn State in a shootout 45-37. Thoughts on the game?
God, they're just so good at making a track meet game, which is just what Oregon does. And then the defense is just hands on the hips from the third quarter onward. And it's just, you just got to try to hang with their defense, who's also handing on the hips the whole time as well. Cause again, it's a track meet. So
Yeah, I feel like Oregon was kind of this. We had the script, right, guys? I mean, like we were talking about it. We had minus zero point 0.5 in the first quarter, minus zero point 0.5 for the half, minus 2.5 for the game. Drew, you can throw that in right here, Bing. But then at the end of the day, Penn State just continued to stay alive, and they just now they're going to be really battle tested going into the playoff. And I mean, obviously, them playing in the Big Ten, they were already playing big opponents. They've had big games, but this is something where you kind of shoved it around to Oregon a little bit, even though they came out on top. And I think that probably means something, but Oregon is just going to continue to just be inevitable, dude. I don't see them not having a game in these playoffs where they're putting up 30 points. And again, Josh, to your point, if their defense can hang around, they're going to be a scary kind of potential easy cakewalk in the playoff. What do we think?
I mean, yeah, like I would not I really be I don't know. It's so gross, right? Because like Penn State really thrives at just being down 10 points. And like that's when it's like they fire on all cylinders when they're down 10 points like no other team in the nation, especially in like the big game. So
Right.
it's just infuriating because you're just like, why are you the way you are? Like be normal. And they're just like, no.
And to your point on them like not being normal, right? Like they put up so much fight and they make these games like super close, but they don't end up with W's. Like James Franklin in big games, like the stats continue to pile up where he's now 1-14 against top five opponents, 3-19 against top 10 opponents, and 13-28 against top 25 opponents in his career. It
I mean, yeah.
doesn't make sense, but again, the Nittany Lion doesn't make sense either. So here
And
we
it
are.
could just be a first touchdown scataboom, and then you just take ASU minus 3.5 on third, second quarter, halftime, third quarter, end the game.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it could just be that.
We
It'll
shall
be
see.
it'll be interesting. I mean, let's go right into the playoff matchups for this coming playoff for
I
college.
look ahead.
Let's go like we just talked about Penn State SMU. I think Penn State will probably win that game since they pretty much played SMU like pretty much like but they're Oregon. I think Oregon and SMU are pretty similar as far as points wise. So I think Penn State will take that. Then we have Notre Dame versus Indiana. Thoughts on that matchup, guys?
Man, I
I'm
don't
so
know.
afraid of Indiana just getting like blown out. But I mean, again, like that's just a matchup of like who's going to be more fraudulent, right? Like, is it going to be Indiana? Like, oh well, yeah, you didn't like. It's going to be either Indiana loses and the SEC people are like, yeah, see, they didn't play anybody, or it's going to be Notre Dame loses and they're going to do the exact same thing. Yeah, see, they didn't play anybody, and also they didn't play in the conference championship. Like, well, and it's like neither did you. So I don't know. Like, I think it's just a matchup that's just ready for somebody to declare fraudulence.
Yeah, my brain is for Indiana, and I think the reason why is just because kind of like we've talked about, if they're going to be presented as a big dog, which it looks like we're probably going to get right now, it's at like 8.5, but I wouldn't be shocked if we start getting this a little bit closer towards like the 10 spot. And if it does, then again, I think that taking Indiana and whether you want to put it in a teaser and get a little bit greasy or you just want to take it straight up, like I think that there's more value there than taking a Notre Dame team that's proven to be fraudulent, hasn't played a ton of people, and for them to win by 2 scores against a rush attack that Indiana has and a relatively solid defense. They kind of got that three-headed beast. I don't know. I'd be on Indiana early.
I mean, that Notre Dame defense is or was. I mean, outside of what the
Right.
USC game, like they've showed out. So I don't know. Maybe when they come in with a plan
Could
and it's
be.
executed well, that I mean they could expose what has been the problem that Indiana's had, which is they're just kind of a young team right now.
Right. Yeah. Curtis O'Rourke, I think, is going to be the big catalyst up, but right. Like there's been games where he's been huge and there's been games where he's crumbled. And I mean, shit, that's kind of the task at quarterback at hand, right? But I feel like when it comes to these style of games, Riley Leonard is not the most confident of passers. I think that we're going to go ahead and say, right? Like I definitely
Yeah.
trust him running the ball, kind of like we do with Bryson Bailey, but I don't think nearly to the same degree. And yeah, I don't know, Drew, where are you at, Indiana or Notre Dame?
I'm gonna listen to my heart and go with Indiana.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, Notre Dame has a sick run game and their defense is really good too. On my book, I have Indiana as a touchdown and a half, underdog. So I'm gonna roll with Indiana. Let the good times keep rolling on for the Hoosiers.
Let's see. Let's see who's who.
Who's your daddy?
And that'll bring us to the next matchup. Longhorns taking on Clemson. The opening lines for my book, at least, Clemson's a 10-point underdog.
Yeah, see, I think it might just be a ten point dog special in me. I don't know what's going on. I just
Yeah.
can't see Texas doing something crazy dirty to Clemson, but again, I feel like it's a little bit early. I got to digest a little bit more information, but my early take is Clemson.
I mean, but
Spread.
like has Texas as a big favorite done well in any of the games that they're supposed to be big favorites in?
They didn't do well against the Georgia game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me check that for you guys. Um, yeah, Texas' only two losses are from Georgia this week. They had a really tight scare against Vanderbilt middle of the season.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I guess they did well versus Florida, but everybody did well versus Florida except for
they did well against Florida just before Florida started. You know what? Let's just start breaking necks and taking names right now.
yeah.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
before we kick it into gear.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
But where were the Arch Manning games? I feel like I watched all of these games, but I remembered none of
I know
them.
specifically one game where Arch Manning would play Louisiana Monroe.
Monroe. Drew got his soul ripped out by General Booty.
Oh
Yeah, well,
man.
that kid's not even playing anymore. That shows what I knew. Um, I don't know. I mean, the Texas A&M game was tight. They played good defense against them. Um,
But that's what I'm saying. If these are huge blowouts to nobody's schools, but they didn't have presented a 10 point dog in front of all these other schools, that leads me to believe that you got to take Clemson.
Yeah. I don't yeah. I mean
I
it's
hate it.
tough.
I hate it, but that's my initial gut is just say take Clemson.
Because I'm just not about particularly I mean like I'm just not particularly about backing Clemson, but they're gonna show up. Like I'm not
Yeah,
afraid of them not showing up.
I think it'll get an exact feel of what this game will be, considering what Clemson will look like against Texas and what Georgia looked like against Texas.
right.
Especially how Georgia ran the ball against them in the second half. Um, let's go on to the next and final game. Tennessee goes to play Ohio State. Now, this is a crazy game. Tennessee's only a touchdown underdog, 7-point underdog. What do we think about this game? This is going to be a really good game.
I mean it might be every dog, like except for maybe Indiana. But
I
it
was gonna
might
say
just be
this is gonna be my one dog I don't take. I want to take OSU badly.
I just have no
I don't know
confidence.
why I don't believe in Tennessee.
The problem with these big spreads is like you have to come out firing, right? And if you're not, then it's just like Like, and Ohio State doesn't. Like they just
Yeah.
they've rested on having more talent than the other team, which has worked for the bad teams in the
That's
Big
a good
Ten and
point.
rolling into most of those big games without a plan. But I don't know how well that's going to stack up against like Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know why I just have not been on Tennessee the whole year. Like even with how well that they've done, and I had to ask somebody the other day, like, are they guaranteed to make the playoff? And they're like, dude, you're stupid. Of course they're making the playoff. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen it. What are their big wins? Like
Well,
what are the
Being
big
in the
pieces that were
SEC.
right?
I mean,
But like, are there any upset crazy things that maybe I'm not remembering that puts their case there? Because otherwise with OSU, I think they're pissed off. I think this is going to be a situation where Ryan Day is just going to be like a Star Wars like more moment just to like piss everybody off if Ohio
Yeah, but
State
like
click.
I feel like ultimately, like if your players believe that the coaches are putting you in a spot to succeed, then like yeah, you're gonna more another team. But like every single time there's been like a letdown opportunity for Ohio State, then like they don't really
Yeah.
respond. Like they just like the only time that they actually did was when CJ Stroud was letting them all hang out. Which again is just more it's just more talent.
here is my takeaway. If you have a freshman quarterback in Nico Yamalavea, you have Dylan Sampson, who's an absolute just truck, an absolute truck. They run the ball with him. Ohio State has a good defense. They stop the run, make it Nico's game. I don't think Nico can really take care of that Tennessee offense as just the carrying on his back. So give me Ohio State. And maybe Chip Kelly and Ryan Day have been listening to the news and be like, hey, maybe you should throw the ball to like your top three wide receivers in the country. Ever thought of that? Huh? So I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's Ohio State.
Yeah, I will tell you, I will be adjusting these lines like crazy, but I also want to see where they get a little bit closer to because Josh knows I hate -7. It's one of my least favorite. If anything, you got to get it to 5.5 just because of all the overtime nonsense that's going on. Lose yourself a couple points, grab yourself the value. So I'll be looking at 5.5 if and when available.
We'll see. And then obviously the Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, and Arizona State all have the week off to prepare for the bowl games, So,
I
but I
know.
don't.
I mean, listen, I love the buy, but I'm not frustrated. I'm a bit, it would have been funny still to have any of those teams that are sitting over there having to travel to Boise, Idaho.
No, you guys deserve to have the week off. I think
Uh,
that's huge for at least for this
oh
the
yeah.
playoffs.
Sure.
But that'll wrap up college football, and that brings us into our next most favorite segment of the week, bell cow, baby. Now, what is a bell cow? A bell cow is someone who has 20 carries, 100 yards, and one touchdown. Oh, yeah.
Tell 'em.
Bell cows here for our last week bell cow of the regular season before playoffs. Yeah. So let me tell you, I got a bell cow for you. Let me tell you something. Down in Jacksonville, there's a madman on the loose. A juggernaut, oh yeah, force of nature. Yeah, and his name is Trey Stewart Gamecock. The man had 27 carries. Yeah, barreled through this defense like a hot knife through butter. Let me tell you, they weren't just any carries. No, 201 yards of pure dominations. Yeah, snapping ankles, breaking dreams. But wait, no, there's more. Not one, two, three touchdowns coming on the ground. Oh, yeah, it was like a firework on the 4th of July. Yeah, baby. He had those linebackers spinning, safeties guessing, and fans screaming for more. Yeah.
Bell Cow Savage. No one does it better than you, my man. Let me tell you. I
Play the
am
music
coming
loud.
in. I'm coming in hot this week because obviously we've got to touch on the man, the myth, the legend, Ashton Jeanty, coming in with 32 carries, 209 yards, and one touchdown to just add to the Heisman performance, baby. We love it. But my bell cow this week comes out of the Maction. I got you. We're going with Anthony Tyus III, the senior from Ohio. 27 carries, 151 yards with one touchdown on the ground with 2 receptions for 22 yards. The senior out of Portage, Michigan, shoved it into Miami of Ohio and claimed the championship. So give me Anthony Tyus as my bell cow this week.
Another resident bell cow, Anthony Tyus. Let's make Ashton Jeanty mayor of Bell Cow City. Yeah. That'll bring us the Josh Bell Cow of the week.
We got a mayor. Now we got the Secretary of Defense, Bryson Daly for Army, 25 carries, 126 yards, and 4 TDs on the season. I mean, 264 carries, 1,480 yards, and 29 touchdowns. We wish the future five-star general well, and a go Army beat Navy.
Go Army, beat Navy. Let's get it.
Go Army, beat Navy. Bryson Daly could never. Should have maybe looked at our TikTok. Yeah. And that'll wrap up Bill Cow of the Week. Yeah, and that brings us to Christmas time. Lump of coal of the week. Who absolutely choked? Who blew it this week? I know who blew it. You guys are the lump of coal. I wish I did take my University of Ohio parlay that I had and cash it out and put it on the damn Red Hawks. Oh, we're all lumps of coal. You get a lump of coal. You get a lump of coal. I get a lump of coal.
That one was out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna return my Christmas gift for you.
Wow, that is unreal. And I will tell you, I'm in a weird lump of coal area because technically this is still a smoldering ember just with the way that we're recording this, but my lump of coal might just go ahead and be the Eagles. They just took the lead against Carolina. We're looking at 22-16 right now. Sure, they're driving. Maybe this take looks really bad in about an hour. But for right now, I mean, the Eagles really should be train rolling right now. What happened to being the czar of the division? Okay, anyways. Eagles are my lump of coal.
I mean, listen, I couldn't even hear you through your clown makeup, loser. My lump of coal will be Quinn Ewers. I mean, he had 358 yards, which was good, but like it was, closer to a 50% passing completion than I think we would have wanted. A TD, 2 interceptions. I mean, for me, when all the time I saw him, he just kind of looked inaccurate. Scared.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I think Steve Sarkisian's a lump of coal. I think they both get a lump of coal. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough game, man. It's Texas was going to Texas, but again, to your point, Josh, if you're going to be that high caliber team, if you're going to be perennial #1 team in the country, then you've got to have the sauce, and Quinn did not have the sauce.
It's a bit, again, it's just Georgia. They're just in line to just whack Texas down, and I guess they should be happy that they're on the other side of the bracket from them. But prepare for
game of whack fuck.
I'm very prepared for their. I mean, and I think that's what's fun about the playoff is that we're going to see a lot of really interesting games. But again, like the fraudulent meter is high on a lot of teams, which might just be because like it's so contentious, like between the 3 and 2 lost teams, and then also adding in the group of 5, which just fans the flame. But yeah, so excited, and we're gonna have a lot more lumps of coal.
Yes, there will. And Drew just threw his hand up in the air. What are you throwing your hands up in the air for?
Let's get right into it. That'll wrap up lump of coal, and let's go into professional football, NFL. The New York Jets go to Miami right now. I'm recording during these first 1 p.m. morning slate games, wherever you may be. Miami just is on 4th and goal. It's 23-15. They just ran the ball, and like I've mentioned before, they need a bell cow running back. They don't have one. A-Chain, I think, got hurt, so I don't know if Raheem Mostert's in, but Tua is going to get a touchdown. Let's go get the over.
Look at you, absolutely electric. I love it.
Post the heart rate.
I should have my whoop or whatever you want to call it.
Right. All I know is that I was big on a Braylon Allen touchdown today, and I don't know if he got in, but Isaiah Davis coming in out of nowhere and absolutely vulturing my touchdown. I'm coming for you, dog.
Yeah, I mean, I almost, you like having the extra teams in the playoffs. That's always fun. But I mean, especially on certain years, there's always kind of those like where they put the in the hunt graphics up and they got the Dolphins in there and they're like, the Dolphins are being hunted. Like they're ready to be exposed again as frauds. Like there's no way that this team is going to do anything in the playoffs. Like you're not going to do it with Tua. He can't carry the team. Like Drew said, they need a running back. So, you've won too many games to get Genty. So
oh, and they got the 2-point conversion. Let's go.
Jake,
they
still might win.
Jake, who did you have to get a touchdown?
Braylon Allen, the running back for the Jets, because Brees Hall's out.
I don't know why I thought he was on the Dolphins. No, he could. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. There's still time left. But yeah, I mean, Dolphins really need to win that game. Josh said, I mean, you're kind of in no man's land. You're not going to really make a playoff push, but who knows? Let's go on to the next game to Tampa. The Las Vegas Raiders travel to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. It's currently 21-10, less than 7 minutes to go in the game. This has been an interception fest off. Baker's thrown 2 picks, Aiden O'Connell's thrown a pick. Kind of a
The guns have
stinky
been
game.
slanging.
No, they really
yeah.
have.
Stinky game of the week. Saints Giants is around.
God, this Raiders team has like it's just Brock Bowers and just like I don't know who else is on this Raiders team.
Yeah, Brock Bowers is really holding it down. I mean, he's leading receiving like categories for the entire league, let alone with rookies, right? So again, that's going to be something that the Raiders may have struck gold on, and I think that most people that were watching the draft kind of knew that when they got him.
Mhm.
It's fun to see it executed. It's not fun to see you getting executed this season, 2-10, and will probably be 2-11 after this week. Go Bucks!
I thought of this take during the week and it just popped in my head. Brock Bowers is what everybody thought Dalton Kincaid was going to be. Am I
Hey, he
wrong?
still has. Come on, Dalton
It's
Kincaid
it's his
can get
third
there.
year, Jake.
Buffalo's a weird offense. It's cold.
Excuse me, second year. So he has his third year to make. Continue. Go ahead.
It's cold.
Beat me.
That's it. That's it. That's all I got.
I don't know. There's a lot of hype, and Brock Bowers is living up to his hype, but that's just me. It's just me. I still love Buffalo. Just yeah, Anyways, we go
Well,
to
hey,
Steel
Drew,
City.
sorry, one more thing on Tampa, real quick. Is that on the Tampa side, I think that I keep having this problem, and I don't know if everybody else keeps having this problem, but every week that I bet on Bucky Irving, Rashad White goes off. Every week that I bet on Rashad White, Bucky Irving goes off. I hate these conundrums, and I need them to stop.
Doesn't help that Bucky Irving's hurt, so that
I know.
sad stonks.
Yeah, sad stonks. Sad.
You ever tried just doing two separate ones with each?
I plead the fifth.
I'm no mathematician, but
Hey, listen, man. Sometimes the logic is too sound to where it hasn't clicked yet, and maybe this is it. Who knows? That's too good.
divide and
Ugh.
conquer.
And that'll bring us to the next game. Steel City Steelers taking on the Browns, up 27-7. The first quarter looked like, oh, Browns, Jerry Judy, and the Steelers, Russell Wilson, carry on.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I will say I do love all of this Jerry Judy just continuing to kind of be treated like a number one because he is a number one. I feel like people have slept on him for a little bit. So
1.5.
Yeah.
all right. I mean, listen, I'm gonna still
Couple
say
bucks.
a one on the Browns for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, being treated like a true one, getting targets. So that's I don't know. It's fun to see. I feel like when he was with the Broncos, he didn't really get as much love, and he was kind of getting just dragged through the mud. He was hurt a little bit too, so it's good to see Jameis, a guy that's absolutely just yeeting balls into the stratosphere, going
Literally.
to Judy. Literally,
No,
Yeah, he-
that's
Want to see me hit that airplane?
want to see me do it again
Want
40 more times in a game.
to see me do it with my eyes closed? Jameis, no. Yeah.
Let's go to the next game. Stay in Pennsylvania. We go all the way east to Philadelphia, where the Eagles are taking on the Panthers. They're up 22-16. 2 minutes left to go in the game. Panthers have the ball, and they have a 1st and 10 on their own 46. Josh, Eagles resident, give us a pulse.
You know. Yeah.
It's
cool. Yeah.
Sick.
I mean, honestly, a little nervous. NFL parody, it is a thing. It's terrifying. Anytime you see like anything over 10, it's kind of wild. Like I'm like, there's no way. Like Bryce Young, he's been having some runs right now. Honestly, if the Eagles could remember how to tackle in this one matchup, that'd be great. But that seems to really be their primary issue in it. Also wrapping up on Bryce Young. I mean, he's basically like he's wads of gum and like 6 toothpicks. Like you gotta wrestle him down.
I mean, Carolina's look good. Adam Thielen, I mean, Chuba Hubbard, they're really clicking. Everybody, I mean, Because is this the game where the Eagles dropped like a really bad one? They haven't done that
I was
this
gonna
year.
say this is gonna be something of the trap game, and to Josh's point, I was kind of looking at big numbers, and I don't like big numbers. So if
No,
it's
they're
ever big
bad.
numbers, I start teasing down or teasing up, and I just completely stayed away from this game because I did not want to be caught with my pants down with Carolina losing by 24 points, just in case that were to happen and tease them all the way up to 21 points. But I also could not see myself going to Eagles -7 and then they end up winning by 7 and I push and I'm not cool with that, right? So that's why they're on lump of coal watch, man. This should have been a game where you absolutely heel toe a team like this, but frankly Panthers have a little bit of sauce.
I don't think it. I mean, but I don't think it was ever going to be a heel toe one because I just don't think the Eagles have ever been a team that does that. I mean, they still have their gremlins on the first couple plays, first couple of drives, which continued in this game. And yeah, the downfield passing of the offense has just kind of not been there, which at some point it needs to
Fair.
be. I mean, they have to. If you can run the ball, then you also need to just start hitting deep balls as well. But there's just a real reluctant to let them air it out, which
I
I don't
mean,
know if that's hurts not wanting to throw interceptions some more, but
Josh, to be fair, you did kind of heel toed somebody this season. And it happened to be in Dallas, Texas, where the Eagles beat them 34-6.
uh, at
I
least
mean,
we've
man,
gone from I mean we've gone from jersey to sweatshirt, so I mean we'll take our little victories.
got his ass.
It's okay. I get it. We all
Well,
lash out.
we'll move on without him. And
Thank
let's
you.
go to the next game. Where the Giants are in the Meadowlands taking on the Saints. This is a bit of a gross game. Saints up 14-3. Giants are in the red zone on New Orleans is one. Malik Neighbors just caught it right at the end zone. Jake, Saints hater. I mean, Giants hater. This is a stink off.
Yeah, no, this one is not. This is the opposite of my Super Bowl. But I think that again, we're talking about stolen touchdowns here. Alvin Kamara got his touchdown stolen by Kendre Miller, coming out of the absolute woodwork, and I'm like, okay, great, love that. And then honestly, the way that I knew that the game was screwed for the Saints was when Blake Grupe missed his first kick.
Yeah.
He's now missed, I believe, two, if not three, in this game. And I knew that immediately all of my mojo was gone from there. At around 10:45 when the games are starting for me at 10, I said, how have the Saints not run with this game away already? And it looks like they might even throw the game away. So love that for my wallet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, it's very unsaints like for them to not be just shredding this team from
Right.
toes to hair tip. Like it's annoying.
I
Dude,
mean,
It's a
every,
new era of saintsdom.
Drew
Of
Lock in the
ain'tsdom.
first quarter was 0 for 8 with 0 yards passing. Think about that. Like
Yeah.
there are fictional characters that could be better quarterbacks than that. And you might
How do
want to
you
look out for later into why we said that.
but how do you find
Foreshadowing group.
how do you find a bigger less accurate, not as mobile um freaking Daniel Jones? It's kind of wild. I mean, they're
It's
tanking,
crazy.
but
that is a good point. Drew Lock is definitely a little less athletic. Yeah, I don't know. They're trying their best to score, and it's just not working. And Bryce Young starts going for one.
it was incomplete.
Oh, you are the future. And that'll move us on to the next game, where the Vikings are up 34-21 on Atlanta, and Kirk Cousins continues to throw interceptions.
This one pisses me off, man.
I
I
told you.
believe so much. I know. I believe so much in the Kirk Cousins. You like that game, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
I mean,
I
again,
was big on Atlanta.
old
I know.
quarterback off an Achilles injury against a blitz heavy defense. Like that's just that's awful. It's a bad recipe. And like the Falcons, what they really only run a zone out zone whatever run. They really only run like two or three run plays. So
Yeah.
kind of wild. They got 21 points, but at the you just let them sling it. Sam Darnold 5 touchdowns. Wow.
Sam Darnold is just putting on a clinic. Jefferson has 2 touchdowns over 100 yards. Jordan Addison's had some insane catches, 3 touchdowns.
That's the thing I hate about Sam Darnold is how much he's made Jordan Addison like a thing. Like I'm just like that's stop.
Yeah. Jordan Addison gives me big Nelson Aguilar vibes, but a little bit better. And it's not just because they both went to USC. But this game really makes me upset. And again, I'll just go back to my note on touchdown vulturing. Bijan owners got vultured by Tyler Algier, and tis the season for vulturing, is what I guess it is. Like, obviously, like we're heading into fantasy football playoffs and whatnot. So make sure you have your people handcuffed because it's going to start getting sloppy.
No, I've had some big vulturings today too as well. But let's go to the afternoon slate game. We're not be able to obviously watch them live during the game like we normally do. But let's start off with the first one. Seattle goes to Arizona to take on Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Arizona is a 3-point favorite at home, and the over/unders at 45. What do we think?
I
I'm
wouldn't
big on
touch this game with
Seahawks.
a
Okay.
35 and a half foot pole, baby.
Really?
No, I hate this division. I mean, like I like the chaos that happens from it, but I hate like just trying to think about it, bet it, do anything with it. Like I just stay away.
Yeah, trust me, I don't like this one either, but something is just screaming to me that this is the Seahawks like momentum game. So I will be riding Seahawks plus 3.5, and I love a Charbonnet anytime touchdown.
No, the Seahawks defense is playing really good. I think they'll be able to stop Kyler Murray in some capacity. With that being said, it'll probably be Arizona that I'm saying this, but I will be taking Seattle in the points.
Mm.
And as far as the over under, give it a 45 and a half under. I don't know why. I'm just guessing.
I would like to see the under, but also for fantasy, I have Kyler Murray, and I really only have Kyler Murray starting because Drew's team's on bye week right now. Which why are there bye weeks right now? Kind of insane. But yeah, I can under.
Jake, over under
What was it, 45?
and a half.
I feel like I'm going to get screwed, so I'm going to do the under, and I'm going to say the game ends 24-20 Seahawks.
We can dig it. On to the next game. The Buffalo Bills go to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. The Buffalo Bills are a 3-point and a half favorite, and the over-unders at 49 and a half.
I'm
I would.
riding Bills.
I'm with Jake. Bills,
Yeah,
dollar bills
I
I
don't
in my
think it's
think
pocket.
got to.
I don't think you overthink this one with yeah, the Rams are at home. They've been playing well with Cooper and Puka and all that. Kyron Williams. It's the Bills.
Yeah, it's the Bills. And Drew, what was the number again?
3.5 Buffalo's a favorite, over under 49 and a half
Yeah, really,
points.
I don't like 3.5 for any team, but in this case scenario, I'll be okay with it. I think the Buffalo walks out with at least a 2 field goal win, if not a touchdown win. And then, man, I feel like that's just going to be an absolute gun show. So give me the over on that one.
Yeah, I like the over as well. I really think it's going to be a game where, I mean, that Rams defense, like they're young, but like once you start leaning on them, they kind of fold a little bit. So, I mean, I'm just going to take the Bills by a billion and the over.
I like that.
Dollar Bills billion.
Yeah, I think I too am going to go not on the over and take the under.
All right.
Whoa,
So
whoa, whoa.
I love
Okay.
misery. What can I say? Going on to the next game. The Bears take on the 49ers. 49ers are at home, favorites by 3 points, over under 44. Is this a get right game for the Bears?
Oh, yeah, this is a fired coach. Good vibes. Bear down. Let's go. Kick the 49ers butt game. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Wow. I can't agree with that.
Whoa.
No, man. I think that this has got to be the week where the Niners show up and show that they've got nuts, man. I mean, you've got Brock Purdy coming back from injury. Obviously, like CMC is out for what's going to be the year now. So you've got to be in a situation where you're putting something up. I think that you see a decent game from Garendo. So I think that they've been able to lean on him. He will be the running back one this week. So again, give me Garendo for probably a nice little bell cow-esque game, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, the Eberflus is fired. The offensive coordinator is now the interim head coach, so now Caleb has another new offensive coordinator. So I don't know how well that's gonna gel as far as because the offense was doing really good for the Bears ever since
Right.
I think his name's Thomas something took over
Yeah.
that offense. Um,
I just hope they have somebody who's just like, your one job is just game time decisioning. Like, just that's it.
I'm gonna take the Bears to cover. I think the 49ers are too injured, and give me the over at 44.
Okay. I probably would do
44.
I would do the Bears in the under.
I'm taking the under. Taking the under in the Niners.
I like how we've been on the opposite of points.
All right. We'll see what's up.
And the Sunday night game, going to be a really good game. The Chiefs are at home taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Chiefs are a 4-point favorite. The over-under's at 43.
That's a gross number.
Right?
43. I
Yeah.
can't even what is the math on that? Like
The implied final score, at least on my app, it's like 23.5 Kansas City, 19.5 Chargers. So,
Well, I'm taking the Chiefs for sure.
To
And
cover?
that's really just to piss you off. So I'm taking the Chiefs to cover.
I mean,
And
you talk
then-
about sevens and you're taking a -4.
I know. It's gross. I hate it, but I'll probably adjust that too.
wow, what a bastard, right, Josh?
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Um,
Sicken me.
But I
more
want
than
the
usual.
I want the under on this one. I think the Chargers have a sneaky defense. I still think that the Chiefs come out with the win, but give me the Chiefs in the under.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers and Mr. Harbaugh and give me the under as well.
Yeah, I want points and under. Yeah, cold.
It is cold, that is true. But Jim Harbaugh, built different, right, guys? So we'll see. Jake and the Chiefs in spite of me, and us two Chargers. And we go to the Monday night game where the Simpsons are in control of the game, taking on when Dallas and Jerry World and the Bengals. Cincinnati is a 5.5-point favorite, and the over-unders at 49.5.
Yep. And I want Cowboys -5.5. Adjust that.
So
Make it
gross.
happen. I love it. I want to eat
I
every
want you
little
to
point.
slip and fall in the bathtub. I
I
want
wanna eat
Cincinnati
every-
-5.5 and probably the over.
I definitely think it's the over for sure. What's the number, Drew?
Bengals 5.5 favorite, over under 49.5.
At least it's at
Yeah.
6. It's at 7 o'clock that time there, so that we don't have to worry about the sun.
Funny. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm gonna go over in Dallas.
Yeah, I like the Bengals and give me the over. I'm so excited for this game with Homer and
The
Bart.
Simpsons. Yeah.
So excited. I love it.
Oh my god.
I'm really curious to see Dan Castanella live voice this Homer Simpson during the game, so it should be good. I'm pretty pumped, being a big Simpsons fan. And that'll wrap up pro football for the week. So let's get on to our current events. Current events of the week. I'll lead us off. My current event, we have a KBO player coming in. Hai Song Kim, free agent. The sweepstakes begin for the second baseman. Posted up some solid stats in Korea. .326 average, hit 11 home runs, 30 bases stolen, and 75 RBIs.
Hey, let's see it. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of international signings that we start to hear about, especially with Sasaki out of Japan. So again, it's going to be a very, very fun off season for baseball, and I hope to continue to add to just the ever-growing lineup that the Dodgers have. I don't think that we're getting Kim though.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to get every Asian,
No.
Pacific Asian free agent.
No,
I mean, this will-
I don't know what is a great team fit for him, but Josh, any ideas?
San Francisco Giants. Let's go.
Yeah, it's a solid
Yeah,
spot.
I didn't see who.
Drew, you can take the Padres. I'll take the Giants. Then we'll just start getting forks at Jake. Which yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I haven't read anything as what his favorite teams are, but 30 bases stolen. I don't know if Korea has this obviously the same rules as they do here as the MLB just changed recently. So I feel like this guy might be on a base stealing savant. Maybe give him 45 bases stolen, 30 in Korea. I don't know. Yeah, that's all. Oh wait, no, I
Yeah.
had one more. You guys want to feel old?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's feel
Sure.
old. So we have some famous NFL football players' sons who just signed on committing day on Monday. You want to feel old? LeVar Arrington, former linebacker who played for my favorite team. His son signed with Penn State, so he also went to Penn State, so that was huge. Jerome Bettis' son signs with Notre Dame. We have Ike Taylor, his son Ivan Taylor signs with Notre Dame, I also believe. No, excuse me, Alabama. Sorry. Ivan
What's
Taylor
in
signs with
touchdown? Jesus'
Alabama.
water.
And then Plaxico Burris' son, Elijah Burris, he signs with Notre Dame.
What is in the water?
Hey,
Crazy, right?
people want to lean into the Notre Dame. Honestly, maybe it has something to do with the fact that they're not conference related. I don't know.
Honestly, the answer's right in front of us, and it's blessings from Jesus.
If you say so.
It's the holiday spirit. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
But yeah, wanted us to feel old. So, and that's all I have for current events.
Well, the only current event that I will be speaking on today is the fact that we have an insane slate of football that's coming up. But before we get into anything playoff related, we need to deal with the battle of our nation, our near damn near civil war, if you will. Let's talk a little bit about this Army Navy game, right? Army's opening up as a 9.5 favorite going into this game, or I'm sorry, a 5.5 favorite going into this game. Navy has obviously been squandering what has been kind of the back half of this season and what everybody thought playoff wise. But how are we feeling going into Army Navy, folks? Because I'm feeling patriotic as hell. Let me tell you.
it just feels like a year where Army is bucking the trends, I think. And so, I mean, it might be an uncharacteristically high game with them scoring a lot of points and them covering a lot of points as well.
Yep. I don't have the number on the over under here, but again, I think
do.
that this is, oh, what do you got?
My book has it at 40.5.
Yeah, I'll be smacking that. And again, I'm a little bit concerned at 40, but again, I think that it's
Yeah.
something where I just don't see this being a position where Bryson Daly doesn't get at least four combined touchdowns, maybe one or two from the air and two on the ground. So I'm taking Army minus 9.5. I'm adjusting that shit up, and I'm taking Bryson Daly for two touchdowns. But that's about as much retribution as I can give to you, Drew, since I didn't ride Army this week. So hopefully that makes up a little bit for it.
Okay, I'll take off 3 less war crimes. You're currently at 4 war crimes.
Amazing. Hey, all I can do is chunk my way down.
Listen, Daly, we'll only need the Bradleys, the people movers, not the tanks. You can leave the tanks. We'll only need the movers.
I love it.
I mean, this 4.5, that's probably the highest it's been in like, I don't know how many years. I'm going to say 20 years or more, 40.5.
Yeah, that's high.
That's really high.
Yeah,
It's normally
this
like
is
26 or 27 or something goofy like that.
31.5, like on a really good year. This is a game where Navy has really commanded and kicked Army's ass for like the past like decade or more. But it's Army's year. They've been just absolutely boa constrictoring, like Jake sent that meme earlier in the season. Army's a boa constrictor. They will sink the midshipmen. Give me Army. 5.5 with, well, they're 5-point favorites. So yeah, by more than a touchdown.
Easy money.
Salute to service. And that'll wrap up your current event, Jake.
That is indeed.
Josh, current event of the week.
I mean, my current event is that the Eagles ended up winning, so we can all point and laugh at Jake.
Did they really?
They
Oh, yeah.
did.
Well, we said it was a hot coal. We didn't say that it was a good coal.
Hey, Cole has like a little bit of an ember because I mean it was 4th and 9 and they made it a game. So
Hey,
Oh,
listen,
Eagles
we
did
might just
win.
be riding the Panthers cover like for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I like that.
we shall see, and that'll bring us on to our bencher play. Who are we benching? Who are we playing? My play this week is Tom Wilson, forward for the Washington Capitals, playing the Montreal Canadiens. Gets hit in the face with a hockey puck, proceeds to have a tennis ball, bigger than a tennis ball size bruise on the side of his face. He ends up coming back in the game after that, scores 2 goals to win the game, and then during the interview, he could hardly breathe. I love this man. I bought his jersey on sale, so I've been spending money, too much money. And yeah, I love him.
Drew
Hit
is
that-
single-handedly paying for his suspensions or his fines.
Oh, lovely.
Right.
Would do.
It looks like in the photo that you have, if you took, those Hubba Bubba like tapes of gum, if you unrolled the entire thing and you just shoved it all into your cheek, that's what it
Yeah.
looks like. But that is
It looks-
absolute warrior shit.
It literally looks like some of those slap league people
Yes,
at the
it
end of
does.
those fights.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Ugh. Yeah, no, I don't even. What would you consider? This is like a cantaloupe size like bump on the side of his face.
Cantaloupe
Oh,
is
yeah.
huge. I'm gonna go ahead and say softball.
Okay,
That's-
softball.
Yeah.
Maybe a Tangelo.
Yeah, like a big Tangelo. Okay, that's a fair
Yeah.
comparison.
Yep, easily 8 grapes.
Big Graves. My bench. I'm benching the Arizona Barstool account. We both follow it quite frequently. Arizona hockey beats ASU in hockey. Cool, guys. Fucking sick. Who gives a shit? Arizona State just won the Big 12 championship game as like the worst team in the whole conference, and they win it. Who gives a shit? We're losers. Oh wow, we beat them in hockey. Who gives a fuck?
Uh, hey, listen. If anything, we tried. It's a
Yeah.
big win.
Yeah.
That's a D1 program. We're a club team. Like,
And yeah, it's club. It's not even like D1 hockey, like D1
well, no,
club.
but ASU, that's their D1 team.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It wasn't
Yeah.
their club team.
I'm still upset.
No, we beat their D1 team. Josh, shut up.
Yeah. I would
pretty
hate
excited.
watching every minute of ASU, just wishing on them to lose.
Yeah, of course.
So put my bench on our that account and bench Arizona State hockey, and that's all I had.
All right. Well, for my bencher play, I'm going to start off with a play, and it's going to be Timothy Chalamet on game day, guys, because he was electric. He came in with the ball knowledge. I don't think anybody knew that he was going to come in with stats and receipts on prior games. And, he is human, even though he is the Lisan Al Gaib. He went 4 for 3 on his picks, but he nailed Ohio. And again, everybody on the panel, everybody was big on Miami of Ohio. And the main play is seeing the tweet that I saw, which was from Barstool Redhawks. So we're both giving a little bit of slander over here. But the Redhawks basically tweeted out that Timothy Chalamet made a bad pick when he was the only one that picked Ohio. And then the best part is that readers added context, and it says Ohio beat them 38-3. It was a great pick by
that's
Timothy.
good.
And I'm just like, yes, oh, that's so good. So I'm playing that right there. But man, that Ohio Miami game, we've probably talked a little bit too much Mac on here at this point, but damn, that was
Never enough.
mollywhopping. But for my bench, Drew, you already threw a little bit of shade at us. I'll throw a little bit more shade back at me. I'm putting myself on the bench for fading the Wizards. That I don't know if anybody for anybody that was watching last week, I had actively said that the Wizards were going to lose their next 6 games. They went around, and I fucked around and found out. And they lost their first game of December, which was great. We turned $10 into 1063. So again, huge win for the program. But then going into their game versus the Denver Nuggets, we took 1063, put it on the Denver money line, which at that point was minus 750, and we ended up losing. But the next big game is tonight when the Wizards play the Grizzlies at minus 550. And who wants to start the trend again with me? Nobody. Okay. All right. Cool. Sounds great.
I would like to bench myself.
Yeah. So again, I am on the bench for fading the Wizards. Jordan Poole has been doing his thing, but big game against the Grizzlies. I still think they take it out tonight, but again, I'm on the bench. Hello.
Well, yeah, Josh, bench or play this week?
My play that I have is the Boise State football tweeting out home away from home, which is them obviously making the Fiesta Bowl again. They were obviously quite good in the Fiesta Bowl. They had a victory against Oklahoma, most notably 2006, TCU in 2009, and Arizona, of course, in 2014, which, we got to slam it in there while we can, since we're really mad at them. So yeah, I love when they cut the show in the Broncos in their stadium, and you see all the little Fiesta Bowl trophies up on the wall. Same in college football, if you dabble. But yeah, that's my play. And then from there, my bench will be expanding the playoff talk, because it's the same when there was 4 teams. It's the same now when there's 12 teams. There's always going to be 2 or 3 fringe teams that are going to be mad that they didn't get in. Which again, I mean, the committee clearly now, with this new way that it's built, they have to value the conference championship games. And how do you make your conference championship games? You win games. Like it's the equation's always been the same. You win the most games, you make the playoffs. Like that's exactly how it is. It's how it's supposed to work, and that's how it's going to continue to roll.
I tend to agree. I will tell you that not seeing Alabama, Miami, or the cock agenda being pushed throughout the playoff are going to be pretty tough moments.
I mean, but again, like it was outlined, especially we were harping on it with Miami. Like they had an easy schedule. You just had to not lose. And again, that's a
lost,
huge
right?
It's a huge disappointment. Like you made Kyle McCord look good, and I had a whole last year of watching Kyle McCord be bad, and now I got a whole bunch of listenings of people telling me that he might be better than Will Howard, which again, he's not. Will Howard's not that much better, but again, it's like I'm like the Kyle McCord train. I'm not a passenger on.
Oh. What a now what a metaphor.
According to who?
I don't know, but Kyle McCord, Chip Kelly, and Ryan Day stink. Quarterback killers, like I've mentioned before. And that'll move us on from bench or play to worst or best tweet. What we saw on the internet. I don't know if you guys saw this one, but obviously we know Texas lost in overtime to Georgia in the playoff, and immediately the internet posted the clip, the episode of King of the Hill, where Hank Hill goes to the Texas Nebraska game, and then Hank somehow gets into the alumni suite. And they think he gets a phone call and he picks it up and they think he's some like famous Nebraska player and he calls a play to ruin Nebraska, and it ends up working out for Nebraska, and Texas loses. And then Bobby's like, Dad, what's this failing of me not wanting to live anymore? Is that okay? He's like, that's okay, son.
It just means more in the SEC, Drew.
Yeah, so welcome Texas to the SEC.
That's so funny. Well, I hope to have even a quarter ounce of the same energy with that one. But please tell me that you guys saw the SMU location tweet prior to the bowl game, or I'm sorry, the championship week, because the location of where they put it is just not Charlotte, North Carolina. It looks like it's out of Game of Thrones. And I don't know why every team thinks that they can like just pull off the Game of Thrones look. Like there are some teams that have that like medieval feel to it, and it's like, yeah, lean into it. Like that's your brand, you know what I mean? But again, not every like, oh, race to the playoff needs to be like castle and medieval themed. I don't know. Let's just get a little bit of creative. But yeah, I was just like, dude, that's not Charlotte.
Yeah, they're over there sniffing the Mountain West commercials, brother. Your guys aren't, the ACC's not at the peak right now.
Yeah, get out my house. I did not need that. But Drew, if you'll entertain, I have another one too. And frankly, if this guy isn't on our worst best tweet every week, then we've got a problem. But I think that we've done a good job of tempering it throughout the season. But Antonio Brown's Bill Belichick tweet this week, where it was pointed out that Bill Belichick was interviewing for the coaching job at UNC. And then Antonio Brown quote tweeted it and said, I heard his girlfriend was a junior there. Hashtag CTESPN. And it's just like, he's a walking content reel. And frankly, that's just a bad look for Bill Belichick. But if he did get that coaching job, that would be kind of sick. I'm not going to lie. I think I'd kind of be all for it.
I'm pretty sure it's been reported that his Twitter account's ran by a white guy. That is not even him. So like, whatever. Antonio Brown's still a massive fucking loser.
Hey, listen, you got the content.
He's still a fucking loser.
Yeah, good content, but he is a scumbag to say the least. But hey,
oh yeah,
brings the entertainment for us while we can all watch. Does that? That'll bring us to Josh. Best tweet.
Now that the Eagles have won, it's okay. The best tweet is Eagles rookie cornerback Quinyon Mitchell wearing a Quinyanamo Bay shirt to the game. Obviously, the rookie cornerback has been putting people on an island, and that island now happens to be the island of Cuba, where you're imprisoned for life without probable cause. So guess what? Take that, wide receivers of the NFL.
It's a little bit early. It's a little bit early to be doing stuff like that. Like Revis Island took a while to be able to form,
Hey, listen, once they start getting nicknames around, it's that's what happens.
Jake, we can't talk shit.
I honestly,
I get it, but that's
I wanted San Quinlan Island, honestly, because I thought that was better because it's more.
I see where you're going.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Who knows? He might live up to it or a curse. So it's two sides of the coin. But it probably will be just elite for years to come. Doing our luck, right, Jake? But that'll wrap up worst or best tweet, and that'll bring us to our new top 5 fictional characters that we would want on our football team. So let's go into it. We're gonna do it draft style. So actually, let's make a wheel for this. I think that'd be fun. So let's get this draft order get going. So with the first overall pick spinning now, the first overall pick will go to. I will be getting the first overall pick in this draft.
Let's see it. Drewski.
All right. So let's remove me. Second pick overall. between you two. I don't know which kind of pick you would want to have in this draft, but it is going to be Josh with the second pick. So that means by default, Jake has the last pick.
Let's go.
Josh is second.
I feel like the second pick's always the worst when there's three.
All right. So we're going to go off of it as head coach, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, O-line. So with my first overall pick for head coach, like I alluded earlier, give me Hank Hill as my head coach for my football team. I'll tell you what,
That's pretty good. I like that.
that boy ain't right. Dang it, Bobby. God. I think Hank Hill would be a great coach. Like, he's a great father figure. Stern, can be cool at times. I think he'd be a good head coach. Legend at his high school football team. So give me Hank Hill.
So that
And
goes to
Josh.
me at number 2 for my coach. I will be taking the Grinch. He is a planner, he's an executor, and he's got a history of success. I mean, let me tell you, he stole a whole town's worth of presents in a night. And again, there's room for growth there. You catch him slipping once and he changes his ways. So I mean, you like a guy who's on his feet, you like a man who commands a room. First of all, can command his dog. And yeah, that's my head coach right there.
There's room for growth sent me. That is unbelievable. I love that.
That was a really
Um,
good pick.
All right. Well, I hope that you guys like my pick because my head coach of my team is going to be Popeye because we have an absolute sailor's mentality. We're running hard-nosed football. We're going to be the most physically fit team. We're going to be the most nutritious team because we're eating spinach left, right, and center. And it's not a fun style of environment, but it's going to be a Belichick style. We're coming out on top. Popeye, head coach.
Popeye.
I'm calling Bryson Daly again.
Popeye definitely
He's picking the Navy.
Popeye definitely runs like the wishbone offense for
Oh,
your
yeah.
team.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in.
And Jake, that'll snake us back to your quarterback pick. Who are you taking?
All righty. Well, my quarterback pick, there's just the value on the board here. I'm going with Hercules. And I'm taking Hercules just because at the end of the day, he's got the size, he's got the strength. Find me somebody that's going to be able to have him in the pocket and actually bring him down. And if not, he's going to be able to dash away. So I'm taking Hercules as my quarterback.
Okay.
That's fair. I like that. I like that. And so for me, I will be taking for quarterback. I'll be taking Obi-Wan Kenobi, obviously a field general. I think he'll be good at protecting the football. Light on the feet. Obviously, you got a whole lot of intangibles when it comes to the Jedi tricks, and ultimately you can just be telling guys to go the other way.
I like it. I like it.
Creative.
My pick for quarterback. We'll have honorable mentions later, but my pick for quarterback. Give me Mr. Fantastic from the Marvel Four, or the Fantastic Four, excuse me. I mean, the guy can stretch. He can get every arm angle you want.
That's pretty good.
Obviously, you can't go past the line of scrimmage because
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
cheating. So you can't hand off the ball like that. But yeah, absolute cannon. I would hope he can slingshot it. So give me Mr. Fantastic as my quarterback.
Real quick though. Hypothetically, right? If he reaches out there, arm reaches out past the line of scrimmage, but then throws it backwards,
Uh,
that's a legal play, right?
I don't like that. It's
That
got
broke-
it's the imaginary wall of the line. Like you can't go above it.
that kind of broke my brain, if I'm being honest. Hank Hill would have to figure that out. If that's
What in tarnation?
man, that boy's right. He has a good arm. That'll bring us to our running back pick. Who I'm gonna have for running back? I have two guys I want. It's gonna be pretty difficult. Give me the Road Runner from Wile E. Coyote.
Great answer.
Super fast. Meat just takes good direction. Just doesn't talk back. He's just run the ball, take the mail, run it.
Head down and run.
Down to the end zone. So give me the Road Runner.
Hey, he was on my scout watch. That's a great pick. It's a great pick.
Oh yeah.
And that'll give us Josh.
And for my running back, a little bit of a wild card here. I will be taking the War Horse from the movie War Horse. Now, I've never seen the movie, but I know that if I need to get 5 yards, that horse will get me 5 yards. Right? I mean-
This is like you said, Warriors for the world.
Oh man, that's good.
I mean,
No, you're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
indomitable courage in a
Oh.
four-legged animal.
Whew. Holy
Hey, that's a bell cow. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. No, that is solid as they come, my man. I love that. Well, for my running back, I think that there's a little bit of value. We've been seeing a lot of these guys in the NFL. They vary in size, speed, but there is the consistency. And it's the fact that we see a lot of smaller guys that have absolute juice. So I'm taking Dash from the Incredibles as my running back because
Oh.
he is able to not only have the snapback cuts, everything that we want to see, but I think the real factor here is that we have the quick, intuitive, kind of cognitive pieces of it, right? Like famous scene at the end of the Incredibles is Dash is running, and you could tell that he wants to break away, he wants to win that race, but he knows you can't get caught too, can't go too fast, right? Sometimes it's just about patience. Sometimes it's not about letting the other team know what you want to do. Dash is my running back.
Yep, he was on my short list for wide receiver, and it was because he's got that star mentality. He wants to be a star.
Oh yeah, he future MVP. I see it, almost a CMC vibe, if I have to be real.
Mm-hmm.
And Jake, that'll lead us to the next round with wide receiver. Who are you taking for your wide receiver position?
All right, I've been waiting for this pick. This has been my number one when we first came up with this idea. This is the first person that came to mind for me. I want Wilt from Foster's Home of Imaginary Friends. The 10-foot red monster has a background in basketball. We haven't seen his football tape, okay? We don't know if exactly it's going to translate from the court to the field, but frankly, I think with a little bit of coaching, that sailor's mentality that Popeye is going to be building in there, I mean, we're going to get him on a nutrition plan. We're going to have him lifting weights. He's going to be the next Megatron. Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. You're my wide receiver.
Big hands,
Big hands.
but he only has one.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm cool with that. Get up. OBJ.
And okay, we'll see how
Okay,
Wilt
okay,
is in
okay.
the wide receiver room. So could be game changing. Just one hand catches Odell Beckham every catch.
Sometimes all you need is one hand.
Yeah,
And Josh, your pick for wide receiver.
I will be taking Spider-Man. Obviously, agility. We got speed. We got leaping. We got. Listen, most importantly, we got catch point and we got emergency webs if needed.
Yeah, that's a really good pick.
That is a really good pick. Spidey senses,
Mhm.
can swing, could probably wrap around linebackers and defenders with his webs. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good, pretty good. Well, I can't believe this got to me. My wide receiver pick, somebody that you don't need to tell to go in the weight room, somebody that always eats his food, somebody who trains harder than everybody else. For wide receiver, give me Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Absolute workhorse, insane dude. Well, I mean, obviously he can fly, but he doesn't have to do that. He can run. He's strong. He's the strongest person ever. Yeah, dude, absolute insane ethic. Goku, wide receiver.
Such a good answer, Drew. Damn it.
This is a good pick.
And that'll bring us to our next and last round, the O line. Now, there's a lot of guys you can go for O line. Which direction you want to go, I'm not too sure. There's a few guys. I have guys on my list that I know you guys are going to take, but I don't know which one would be best. Um, I went with the superhero. I'll go with the fictional. I'll go with another fictional character. Give me King Kong as my offensive lineman.
That's a good one.
Oh, damn,
Yeah.
Drew. You came to play.
Yeah, King Kong as my offensive line, super strong, literally ape strength. Something that Trent Williams, left tackle for the 49ers, he calls himself the silverback gorilla. So King Kong defending Mr. Fantastic in the pocket.
That's good.
And that'll bring us to Josh, your offensive lineman pick.
My offensive lineman pick will be the one and only Optimus Prime.
Oh.
Obviously, we have a protective instinct ingrained in the substrate steel of my man's matrix of leadership and coded heart. And absolutely, the guy is great at keeping them squishy humans alive. There's multiple times where he's 1v5'd a bunch of extra robots, and you know what? Except for that one time where he died. Except, other than that, he normally comes out on top. So, Optimus Prime.
Oh, that's another really good pick. Damn. Damn. Okay. Well, I felt really good about my offensive line pick, but now I don't feel nearly as good. But for my offensive line pick, I'm going with Beast from Beauty and the Beast. And main reason why is because people are going to worry about when Bell's in the stadium, just like when Travis Kelce has Taylor Swift in the stadium. But when he's on, and there's not many better other options when it comes to this fictional character universe. So give me the Beast as my offensive line.
Okay.
He'll protect his blind side.
Michael, this family. This is your family. All right. And that'll wrap up the draft. You guys want to read off your team?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go for it. Go for it, Drew. You start.
All right. So my head coach, Hank Hill, starting quarterback, Mr. Fantastic, running back, Roadrunner, wide receiver, Goku, offensive lineman, King Kong.
And then we have at coach, we have the Grinch. At quarterback, Obi-Wan Kenobi. At running back, we have the horse from the movie War Horse. And at wide receiver, we have Spider-Man. At O-line, we have Optimus Prime.
I love it. And then on my side, we've got Popeye as our head coach. We've got Hercules as our quarterback. Dash from The Incredibles as our running back. Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends as our wide receiver. And the Beast from Beauty and the Beast as our offensive line.
And now let's leave it up for honorable mentions. Who's you guys have who could have been almost drafted at the position?
I mean, Jake had my wide receiver too. He had Dash there. My running back 1 or 2, depending on where I went. And ultimately, I decided on the War Horse. But my number 1 was Lightning McQueen. And I put, where does the football? I said, where does the football go? And I said, who cares? I am Speed.
Oh,
Damn, that's good.
Oh,
That's,
you should have. I would have lost it.
the couple that I had on my list, that one that it was really hard for me to not take this guy because I almost took him as my running back, but I figured that we had to just go with the speed piece of it, was Aang from The Last Airbender. I figured that absolutely, again, get on the little like wind ball and start going around and weaving through people. Like easily could see some Saquon Barkley-esque backwards jumps and whatnot. He would have been a perfect running back there.
Dude, some air stiff arms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. My honorable mention for head coach, Al Bundy from Married with Children.
There you go.
I think that would have been a good head coach. I wanted to for memes, but I know it would have been a bad pick for my draft. Uncle Rico for quarterback.
That would have been good.
Oh,
Coach
man.
would have put me in. Could have took state. Being
Hey,
hot tub.
One of
with a
my
soulmate.
one of my dark horses that I had, and I was really close to taking him as my head coach because I was really in either one of two camps. Am I going for a vibes guy or am I going for someone that can just lead whatever kind of offense we put in front of him? And frankly, the other head coach I was going to go was Johnny Bravo because we're talking about
Oh,
ultimate
Yeah.
confidence, but like almost like too confident to a flaw. You know what I mean? But like if Popeye doesn't eat his spinach, then like we're having a bad day too. But Popeye almost never eats his spinach. Johnny Bravo typically gets humbled, at least 3
Yeah.
times an episode. So again, it couldn't go with that track record. Had to run with Popeye.
One rises to the moment. Yep.
man,
Yeah.
I'm pretty.
Right on.
Run another honorable Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump would have been a good pick.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's a solid one.
Didn't want
Yep.
to take him because kick returner can only run in a straight line, and that's
Right.
Yep.
Other one, Sonic the Hedgehog for wide receiver, and then O line, the Hulk.
Oh
Yep.
Mr. Incredible, Jake.
yeah.
He would have been good, and then I had Shrek.
For O-line, I really wanted to do Snorlax, but the footwork is just what was giving me is a hard time. You can't just have somebody sitting on their ass and blocking, right? Like, it just doesn't lead to success.
Mhm. Mhm.
Popeye wouldn't stand for it.
Tough to
you know,
coach.
I felt like the Batman for the head coach pick was just like too much of a cop out too, which would have been like a good one. But that's like, everybody knows the meme, with prep time. It's like, yeah, we're unbeatable, but who cares, The Grinch
True.
is infinitely more funny because imagine Optimus Prime like on a holding call and the Grinch just stomps over at him and is just like you're like pointing a green finger at him. it's so much better of a visual.
That would have been a pretty good one for head coach, though.
Yeah, I had that or
Batman.
Dumbledore.
Oh, yeah, that's a good. That would have been a good
He would
one,
have
too.
an unreal rush defense. You
Listen,
shall not pass.
That's Gandalf, you
Fuck,
uncultured
damn it.
swine.
All right, that's on me. Hand up.
It's more but it's more, listen, Dumbledore, as opposed to Gandalf. Gandalf, he's a defensive coordinator. That's obvious. I mean, he was fighting the Balrog all the way falling down. But Dumbledore specifically, like he'll put his players in a position to succeed. That can't be understated.
He played the long game against the who we shall not name. So, but that'll wrap up the show. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Apologize for not many shorts if you are a good viewer of the program here. And that'll wrap up the show. And this is another episode of Bros in the Bleachers podcast.
Later, bros.
Dolphins OT win. Here we go.
Yes.